evening of conversation became 15 years of silence. Two men stood across a drawing room. One offered 2,000,000 rubles. The other agreed to disappear for 15 years. Many years earlier, during an evening gathering, a conversation had begun, as conversations often do. Quietly, civilly, the guests discussed crime, justice, punishment. Some believed death was the harshest sentence a society could impose. Others argued that life imprisonment was crueler still. For one man, the answer appeared obvious. The banker, wealthy, confident, and accustomed to winning arguments, declared that no one would willingly surrender their freedom for years. Across the room, a young lawyer disagreed. To live, he insisted, however confined, was always preferable to die. Words became certainty, certainty became pride, and pride became a wager. The banker offered 2,000,000 rubles if the young lawyer would spend 15 years in complete isolation, no conversation, no visitors, no human contact, only books, music, writing, and time. The lawyer accepted. The following years passed strangely. At first, he sought distraction, music, stories, light entertainment, anything to silence the emptiness. Then, gradually, the books changed. Languages, history, science, philosophy, poetry, religion, civilizations entered the small room, one volume at a time. Outside, the world continued without him. Empires shifted, fortunes were made, governments changed, seasons arrived and departed. Inside, only the turning of pages marked the passing of years. The banker occasionally observed the solitary figure through the small window. The young man grew older, his face became thinner, his hair grew longer, yet his eyes appeared increasingly alive, for isolation had not diminished him, it had transformed him. The books had become his companions, the centuries his neighbors, the accumulated thoughts of humanity his inheritance. Meanwhile, the banker himself changed in another direction. Time, which had quietly enriched the lawyer, had slowly impoverished the man who had proposed the wager. His fortune declined, investments failed, confidence became anxiety. As the final day approached, he realized that honoring the bet would destroy him financially. Late one winter night, he unlocked the prisoner's door for the first time in 15 years. The old lawyer sat asleep at his desk. Beside him lay a handwritten letter. The banker began to read. The years the lawyer wrote had taught him to despise the very things for which men struggled endlessly. Wealth, power, pleasure, reputation, all appeared temporary, illusory. He pitied those who devoted their lives to possessions that time would inevitably erase. He renounced the 2,000,000 rubles. To prove his freedom from worldly ambition, he would leave the room 5 minutes before the wager expired. The banker stood motionless. He had entered the room prepared to commit murder. Instead, he found a man who had already escaped everything the banker himself still believed valuable. Quietly, he kissed the sleeping lawyer upon the head. Then, without waking him, he left. Before dawn, the lawyer walked silently out into the world, poor by every material measure, yet richer than anyone who had remained behind. The wager had ended. The lawyer had entered his confinement, seeking victory. He emerged having abandoned the desire to win, and perhaps that is the rarest freedom a human being can ever discover, to possess a world without wishing to own it.
Anton Chekhov's story endures because it asks a question that every generation must answer. What is a successful life? Is it measured by wealth, by achievement, by the admiration of others, or by the quiet freedom to desire less than the world expects us to? As we continue our journey through the social shackles, ask yourself, what would remain if everything you possessed disappeared tomorrow? Because perhaps the richest life is not the one that owns the most, but the one that finally learns what it no longer needs.